Hello, this is Robert Smith. I'm here in Spain and I'm on my way to Marbella, which is along the coastline. And there's a couple of things I want to share with you about. You may notice that things are going by really fast. I believe we're going about 185 miles an hour on this train. Normally it takes about 7 hours drive in a car, and it'll be about 2 hours and 44 minutes. So it's going pretty fast. And so one of the things I want to share with you is about changes, things going by fast. Uh, Oftentimes in life when things do change, it's usually the changes we don't want. And it's the stresses and how to handle it whenever it occurs is what really causes big problems. It's the inability to let go and to transform or to adjust quickly. And of course in our world today there's many changes going on: financial changes, job changes, relationship changes. Your kids grow up and move off, go to college, get married. Daughter-in-law, son-in-law shows up, and all of a sudden there could be a little bit of conflict going on. And that's just how life is. And so understanding how to cope and deal with it is, first of all, identify your part and then start changing however you respond to them. And that's just how it works. And usually the interesting thing about relationships is that it's so dynamic. It's usually your daughter or your son will marry or date someone who's just like the family. That's why there's so much conflict. Kind of like your mother, your father, your stepfather, your grandfather, whoever it is. And it's from those experiences and the emotional dynamics of the family, they're going to pick the perfect one for them based on what they believe about themselves and based on what the family dynamics are. So one of the things that is the best way to handle that is to address how you respond to them, and start creating changes with that. And so I always have my clients just write the bad list. What is it about son-in-law that bothers me? Or what is it about my grandmother, or my grandfather, my stepfather, my in-laws, my outlaws, whoever it is that's in your life, and just write it out. What is it about them that bothers me? And you can do an exhaustive list, maybe memory events, experiences, and start drawing out that list. And then start with the list and start tapping and addressing those emotional sensations with it. And as you start changing that, then all of a sudden you will change. You can't fix them. And that's what everybody is trying to do, is trying to solve your problems by fixing somebody else, as if they had power over you. And one of my videos, it talks about the two models of the world. And I'll put that on a tagline here, so that way you can check it out. But one of the models is that they're doing it to me and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm basically a victim to whatever they do. And secondly, it's my response to them. The higher model is I'm responding to them by my internal processes, my pictures in my mind, the movies I play, my emotions that I feel as I think about them or as they interact with me. And so what you do is you start addressing you. You can't solve their problems, but here's the amazing part. This is a true story too. Whoever it is that's had an impact in your life emotionally, mom, dad, uncle, whoever, you have a tendency to find them everywhere you go. I was at one of my seminars, and during the break I went out to grab something from my car, and one of the ladies was standing outside smoking a cigarette, just trembling, and I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "Well, my mother shows up to every one of these." I said, "Really? Which one is your mother?" And she goes, "Well, my mother, she's been dead for 10 years, but someone just like her." And so here's the amazing thing is, we take all of our problems with us, and all of our issues will show up somewhere. It's kind of like the lady with her job. She had this horrible boss, couldn't stand him. She just hated this guy. She dreaded going to work every day. And then I said, well, what you need to do is start addressing this issue. And so when we started working and addressing the emotional events in and around this job issue, and all of a sudden we discovered that it was a model of someone else, probably the relationship with her father. And here's the craziest part. Not only did we heal and change that attitude about this relationship, but they started dating each other, and now they're married. I tell you, that's bizarre. Because, it goes back to the one video I mentioned. You love what you hate, and you hate what you love. And the reason why you hate or love it is because somewhere inside you, you have it. And so it's really important to start addressing and owning up to what it is that you feel. And once you make peace with your inner self and the references you have, you begin to really change. It's crazy, I know. It sounds so bizarre, but it's true. Why is it that you always keep finding the jobs or find the people or find the relationships over and over again? Because inside you, there's a part of you that's just like that. If you have a problem with a past experience with your father, your mother, or co-worker, or some childhood experience, it's really you now. It's all you. It's how you do you. So what we want to do is just take full ownership and start addressing that. And the best way is to write your list. And your list will consist of everything that you've ever experienced, every memory that you can think of, everything that you've witnessed, anything, accidents, car wrecks, and start addressing these emotional drivers. And as you start changing these emotional drivers, not only will you change, but all relationships will begin to shift and change. That means they won't be pushing your buttons because you remove the buttons. So, also I have a video, how to keep people from pushing your buttons, and that's basically the concept. Change you, because the buttons are inside you. And this is the truth. When I had a client who came to see me, and actually she called me and she said, "Hey, my marriage is horrible. We're about ready to break up." And I said, "Do you do marriage counseling?" I said, "Of course. I do it a little bit different than anyone else. I'll tell you what I want you to do. I want you to write a list of all his problems. Everything he's ever done, everything that's wrong with him, every experience, everything you can think of about this guy. Write it down. I want you to write this whole list down." She came with 3 or 4 pages. I said, "I want you to have him do exact thing. Say everything wrong with you. Every bad experience, everything that ever happened to you, any negative stuff." And so here it is. She came to my office. We did a 2-hour session, and we started addressing all his stuff. And at the end of the session, she said, I don't think I really did a whole lot. All we did is talk about his problems. I said, "Well, I understand. I'll tell you what we'll do is I'll see him in the next, here in just a few minutes, and I'll see you next week. And what I want you to do is just kind of write a list of anything else that still bothers you." And so he never showed up. Didn't show up at all. I sat there and waited for a little bit, never didn't show up. And so the following week, she showed up, and she goes, "I don't understand it. He's completely changed. He's not the same man. He doesn't bother me. Things don't affect me like it used to. It's totally different." And this is the reason why. The reason why is he would push her buttons, and she would push his, and they would dance this dance. And what happened is we went and changed her buttons so he couldn't push it. And she wouldn't respond to him, and therefore the dance wouldn't dance. The song wasn't playing anymore, so they created a new song for their life. And that's really how it is. You have to understand, it goes back to all the problems really start with you and how you represent it and what you expect and you do to whatever, So again, work on yourself, clean yourself up, and then everything will start to change. That's the key. And that's a basic model I use. The model is basically, the summarized short version is you'll love your neighbor as yourself. That means however you do yourself on the inside, you're going to treat them the same way. That means you got to change you. So if you have any judgments or any angers, any frustrations with anybody, clean it up. They have their own problems. You can't fix them, but you can solve yours. And that's the real key. Life is always changing. And just like I'm going by some amazing countryside here in this train, and it's going really fast. And that's how life is. And I will tell you something else. If you address the number one basic cause of all relationship problems, which is you, and the emotions, you're going to start to live longer. You're going to be healthier. You won't eat to solve your emotional problems because there are no problems there because you're tapping and letting it go. So this tapping process is a healing process that gives you control over yourself. It's taking control of your mind and your body, and that's what you need to do. And as you do that, the people who live over 100 years old, there's a common theme amongst them all, and this is it. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't let it bother you. Don't let it torment you. You talk about these people have seen depressions, all their kids, their wives, their husbands have died, but they just had an attitude, and that is let it go, move on. And changes always happen. The deal is you want to adjust with the change as fast as you possibly can with this very little stress. And if you let go of the stresses as they occur, you're going to look younger. Your body's going to look younger. You're going to feel better. You won't eat to stress deal with your stress because you're letting it go. You'll live longer, your love relationships will improve, your finances will improve, everything will improve by taking control of your life. So just do that. And that's one of the keys. That is this: when something bothers you, feel it and release it with a tapping process. Forgive everyone else involved, let it go, and then just kind of improve your life as you can. And so I know this has helped you. Use it every day. Again, a lot of people say I don't physically tap. In my mind, I do it in my mind. It's tapping. Just do it, and always test it. Make sure it's gone. If it isn't gone, do it again until it is gone. When the emotional charge is gone, and you still have the image of whatever happened, it still happens in your mind, but you don't feel any emotional charge. Change what happened. That means change the meaning of it. Instead of someone saying something bad, they're saying something nice. Instead of someone doing bad, they're doing something good for you, because it's really you. And self-esteem comes from your esteeming self, and how you esteem yourself is by what you do to yourself on the inside. So do something nice. Again, this is Robert Smith. I'll turn my camera around, let you kind of look at the countryside, go real fast, and then I'll end this. I don't know if you can see that. You can see the reflection too. It's not so exciting, but anyway, Spain. And so, of course, I've been trying to upload videos. I have about 3 or 4 of them to upload, but apparently my internet connection wherever I'm staying is not very good. Take full ownership of how you feel. Address what bothers you. Forgive everyone around, which starts from inside you. Be nice to yourself. Be nice to others. Tap. And I'll talk to you later. Have a good day. Bye.